first, set up your template project. After you set up your template project, then add some type of image to your timeline. I have added my donut PNG to a layer of video. It is only about 15 frames long, so it doesn't have to be big. It is just temporary and something to bind your template to. Now let's hop over into the color page. Now, first up, I will set up the correction phase of my node tree. That will include 7 nodes, so let's go ahead and create those. I like to leave the first node empty of any corrections, and now let's label them. So we have noise reduction, we have color space, transform, color checker, we'll just abbreviate, white balance if I don't use the color checker, normalization, and that's just really where do I want the exposure of video to lie, saturation, and contrast. For the grading phase, I have 8 nodes. Shadows, highlights, skin tones, exposure, glow, the look, vignette. For the vignette, and that's the 8th node, instead of it being a parallel node, so we can actually delete that, we are going to do an outside node. That is option O for the outside node. Now on to the finalized phase of your color grade. And that is going to have about 5, like a handful of nodes. So let's go with 5. Oh, back to option S. And because I like to have things kind of together, don't you know? During this finalized phase, we have select, film grain, sharpen, any final touches. If you plan on your rendering being used in broadcast media, that is on television, then you need to bring it within legal standards for wherever you are. So let's call it the legal node. Very original. And that is it for setting up the color template. Now, typically what happens is when I use my project template, I get all of this set up automatically as I add clips. And let's just go grab a clip. This time, let's choose a chocolate donut, and we add that to the timeline. And if I go back to the color grade and say I want to see the clips, every subsequent clip after this first one, if you just type the equal sign, it's the same whether it's Windows or Mac, it copies all of those nodes over. It's like I don't have to set all of this up. Here's the wonderful thing about this. Having these nodes doesn't cost you anything from a performance standpoint inside of DaVinci Resolve. It's not until you actually do some type of grading activity inside of the node that you start to see a performance hit. If you do have a performance hit, then this little circle with the stars, essentially it applies the effects or bypasses the effects. You can get that performance back, particularly if you are someone who likes to do the color grading before you do the edit, just to get yourself kind of warmed up to the process. Then you may want to, you definitely want to bypass, because otherwise once you put the color grade on stuff and once you do the effects, things will get slower. Hopefully this video has helped you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below.